Good night, everyone. Right now, I want you to think about the last time you stood in line for something you really, really wanted. How did you feel? Did you feel like you were anxious? Did you feel hopeful? Did you feel like you're not sure if you're going to get it or not? You're already standing in this long line. Well, this is how people who are waiting for an organ feels like. They're on what we call a waiting list. They feel anxious. They feel hopeful. They don't know if they're going to get it or not. In 1994, a 7-year-old boy was killed. His name was Nicholas. He was on vacation with his parents, and the unselfish act of his parents by giving his organs saved 7 other lives. I too have recently lost my best friend, Mary Beth. We were friends from childhood. She too was on that list. She lost the opportunity of getting a heart because it was too late for her. So I too have suffered pain of a loss. So this is very personal and asking for your help. Throughout the world, people are waiting on that waiting list. In fact, 1,700 people within the United States alone are waiting on that waiting list. On an average of 17 people die daily just because there is not enough organs to donate to these patients. And every 9 minutes, a new name is added to that list. How often do you hear of someone dying in a car accident or from gunshot? Well, 7-year-old Nicholas Green was on vacation with his parents in Italy. They actually started off in Switzerland and they had rented a car and they drove to Italy. While driving, it was in the nighttime. This car was alongside their car. All of a sudden, they heard gunshots. They never knew what happened. Eventually, when they got to safety, they pulled on the side and they turned around to look at both of their kids sleeping in the back seat. They saw Nicholas with his tongue hanging out, with blood dripping from his head. 2 days later, Nicholas died. The unselfish act of his parents by giving up his organs saved 7 other lives. In fact, Nicholas's heart went to a 15-year-old boy who could barely walk across the room without heavy breathing. His heart lived on to 23 years later. 19-year-old Maria Pia Pidala. She got his liver. Today she's married with a son and she named him Nicholas. Nicholas Green's name lives on. In southern Italy, there's streets that's named after him, state parks, and so much more. By saying to yourself, I could make a difference in the world, what can we do? Well, first, in the DMV office, they always ask that question, would you like to be an organ donor? Check off yes. The next thing we could do is always let your loved ones know what your wishes are. 3, there's so many websites that has organ donors that you can sign up on because we have thousands of recipients waiting. Imagine the Greens family, how they felt, how they feel even up to today that your son Nicholas, after 27 years, still lives on in somebody else. He gave a second chance of life to somebody else. The only thing my friend Mary Beth didn't have the opportunity to do. With all the problems in the world, there's one thing we can do. We can give a second chance of life. It doesn't take much. Sign that card. Give somebody a second chance. I would leave you with some famous words by Reverend Henry Burton, who wrote hymns and inspirational poems. He said, "'Twas not given for thee alone, Let it travel down the years. Wipe another tears. Till in heaven the deed appears, pass it on, pass it on. So tonight I ask you, please pass it on.